all. My name is Lydia. This is Nikki. Welcome to the how-to series, which is where in each little clip I present to you different prep poses and what kind of actions and poses you need to take in order to come into one of these challenging postures. So in today's class, we're going to be looking at how do I come into crow pose, or BAKASANA, as you may have heard. BAKASANA is in an arm balance, and it needs a lot of core strength as well as strength in your upper body. Funnily enough, BAKASANA was one of the arm balances that I only managed to master later in my journey, and I think the reason was I was just so afraid of falling on my face. So if you're out there and you're struggling with BAKASANA and it's just not coming, believe you me, just keep practicing, keep falling on your face, it's going to happen, and before you know it, it's just going to come naturally. Keep practicing and all is coming. Let's come meet on the mat, everyone.
So the first pose that I recommend is the GARLAND pose, or MALASANA. So this squat is a really great position to stretch your ankles, the groins, as well as the back of your torso. If you're having difficulty letting your heels rest on the mat, maybe place 2 little blocks or books underneath your heels for some support. The next pose is your standard cat-cow. But specifically, we're looking at the cat pose, and that's where you're basically rounding the upper back, so the space between your shoulder blades. When you master this sort of rounded spinal position, like a cat does in its morning stretch, and apply it to your crow pose, it's going to make a massive difference to your balance. The next pose that I recommend is your plank pose. Plank is useful for all levels of the practice, and it's a wonderful precursor to any arm balance for that matter, because you're really having to learn how to engage the core. If you want to make this a little bit more difficult, you can also lower down onto the forearms. Keep rounding the upper back here. The next pose is NAVASANA. You can do this V-shaped pose either with the knees bent or extended. This pose is really useful to strengthening your core and the hip flexors as well. When we're doing our arm balances, we're taking a lot of pressure into our wrist joint. So it's really important that you stretch the wrist here. One great way is to place the back of your palms down onto the floor, round your chest, tuck the chin towards the chest here, and just hold. Now, blocks can be a really useful way to take away the element of fear. Drop your head down onto the block and then lift your feet up, so your forehead is always resting on the block here. When you get more confident, you can lift your head off the block, and if at any time you get tired, just drop the head back down. I also personally recommend stretching your hamstrings, because when you're coming up into that crow pose and you're on your tiptoes, you want to get a lot of height here. And so if your hamstrings are tight, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to do so. And now let's try the pose. Come up onto your tiptoes, drop the knees into the sockets of the armpits. Shift the weight forwards, lift one foot and then maybe the other foot joins. Try and balance the weight on your fingertips here, and don't be afraid to shift the weight forwards. Just take a couple of breaths here, and when you're done, just lower the feet down and come up gracefully.
Thank you for joining us in today's how-to series. We hope that you found this little tutorial helpful for you. If you're enjoying the little classes, make sure to check out some of my longer flows and practices, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly classes to your inbox. In the meantime, stay safe, keep a happy mind and a happy heart. Namaste!